Central Empire Wrestling presents Bridge City Slam 6 live Saturday, September 7th at the Bridgeview Center in Ottumwa. Come see Jake the Snake Roberts, Buff Bagwell, former WWE Tag Team Champions Demolition, Real One Enzo Amore, The Powers of Pain, The Boogeyman, Snitsky, Jordan Grace, Cameron Brene, and the stars of CEW. Tickets start at just $20 and include the Fan Fest from 4 to 7 p.m. Get your tickets through Ticketmaster or at the Bridgeview Center in Ottumwa. It's Bridge City Slam 6, live Saturday, September 7th at the Bridgeview Center in Ottumwa. And a good morning. Welcome into the sports section here on Steve Shetler Media on a Saturday morning. We are live, of course, from Brothers Market in downtown Sigourney, where you can come in, do your grocery shopping, and get all of your grocery needs here at Brothers Market. Again, beautiful downtown Sigourney on a warm, kind of a muggy Saturday morning. And we've got our summertime host, Mitch Eslick, standing by. He is in a comfortable chair this morning. Mitch, we've got a screen full of folks hanging out with us this morning. What is going on?
Well, I think Coach Striegle's taller than me this morning. It was what it looks like on the thing here. But yeah, we got a beautiful Saturday morning. You know, it's never warm in Brothers Market, so if you want to come do your shopping, it's always a cool 65 degrees in here at Brothers for the sports section. So we've got the state champs with us this morning, the Sigourney girls softball team, Coach Striegle, and three of our superstar young ladies. So we're going to hear from them about their state championship from last Friday night.
All right, so stay tuned for that. We're going to get to them momentarily. We do thank again Brothers Market for being our host venue and our sponsor of the sports section. And savings are made simple. You can go to shopbrothersmarket.com. They've got digital coupons. You can earn rewards. Find the deal of the week. They've got more shopping deals there. Get the app as well. It's a smart way to shop. Again, that's shopbrothersmarket.com as well as the Brothers Market app. Again, we are live at Brothers Market on a Saturday morning, as usual, for the sports section. Mitch, let's take it back to you.
All righty. Yeah, we are very excited to be joined by our Sigourney girls, the state champs in Class 1A for girls softball. It was an incredible week in Fort Dodge just a week ago, and we got them here. We're going to hear all about the excitement that happened with their state championship. Coach Striegle, let's start with you. We'll go around the horn on this one. I'm just kind of curious about what this last week has been like as things have kind of started to settle in of what you guys accomplished. Anytime a season ends, it's always kind of weird, but when it ends with a state championship, it's got to be just all kinds of emotions. So talk a little bit about kind of what this last week has been like for you as that state championship has sunk in a little bit.
For me, the last week has been very busy. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I have been doing lots of interviews, lots of phone calls, lots of newspaper interviews. So this last week has been really busy. But it did finally a little bit start to sink in, and I kind of had a smile on my face all week long and enjoyed the feeling of the accomplishments of this team and these girls. It's really started to sink in and made me feel really happy and proud for them.
Yeah, you guys are media pros now with all the requests that you've gotten here in the last week. So, Ava, how about you? How has it been this last week for you? Is this starting to settle in what you guys accomplished?
So I went on vacation, and we walked into Dairy Queen to get some lunch, and some girl saw my shirt, and she's like, "Oh, did you guys play softball in the state championship?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, we're from Wayne." And I was like, "Oh, I'm from Sigourney." She's like, "Oh, you guys won it all." I was like, "Oh my gosh, no matter where I go, everyone knows I'm a state champion." Like, that's awesome. Honestly, it was just so cool just going everywhere, knowing that I was a state champion, and wearing the shirt and just living in the moment. It was honestly awesome, and I just love the feeling. When I was watching the Olympics, if I saw someone won like the gold medal, I'd just get the chills. It just like brought me back to those feelings. It was just awesome.
So I did not go on vacation. I stayed at home all week, which was very boring. But as I did go out for lunch and stuff, I had so many people congratulate me and ask how it went and how I was feeling, and it was just a great feeling.
I'll agree with the other two sitting right here, but Josephine and Ava said, no matter where you go, people seem to know what you are and what you do. And so being able to, go out in the community and have people congratulate you, you might not know them, but they obviously know us. And so being able to make our community proud is something that really stands out to me especially, and I think the whole team too. And so just being able to make our community proud and all these people is really awesome.
I think that I thought like the whole community was in Fort Dodge on that Friday night, but the ones that weren't were definitely locked in on the TVs, because I've heard from all kinds of people they were very, very invested in what you guys accomplished, and that's incredibly cool. So, Coach, I want to ask you a question about just kind of a whole season question, but you had Cole coaching with you for the first time. How was that? And did you tell him like, hey, it's not always this easy. You're not going to win a state championship when you hop in right away. So, talk a little about coaching with him and just kind of the family atmosphere that you guys have. You've been coaching with Frosty and just the whole family atmosphere that you guys have in the softball program.
Yeah, coaching with Cole was a lot of fun this year. It was very interesting because coming as a male athlete to having to coach girls, he had a whole different perspective at different times. And so he'd come home and he'd say, Mom, blah, blah, blah. And so it was really fun to have him learn and see what we've done all this time. And we talked about how, as a family, we've kind of always done this together. Our kids, when they were little, were at the ball field with us. They helped get the field ready. They were always at games. They were always everywhere. And so it's been really fun to have him on board this way. It definitely gave me a grounding. He kept me in line for things that I wanted to think about and talk about. But it also doesn't work for everybody. Every family couldn't do this. We go home and talk about it and relive every play, every practice, every moment. And we don't argue about it. We just have a big discussion. But I know that there are a lot of people that this would not work for. My mom's around for home games and real excited for the team, and Kendall and Kevin and Kate and my grandkids are around a lot of times. So we really have kind of made this a family affair. But one of the first things I told the girls when Cole first started is, if you're mad at me, it's okay to tell Cole and find out, because he's mad at me a lot too. So yes, it's a family affair, but they can go to whoever they need to discuss or talk about different things. And I think he went and talked to Shay, Carly's mom, a couple times about different situations to just get somebody else's perspective on what coaching girls is like, because he had an idea about boys, but girls, coaching girls was a different story for him.
Yeah, and he did a fantastic job.
I think he did.
His first year helping out as well. Ava, let's talk a little bit about the hit. Okay, obviously, I'm sure that this is a question you've been asked all the time here this last week, but I want to know specifically what was going through your head when you were in the on-deck circle, because you didn't know. I mean, Maya had to keep the game alive first. There's 2 outs, she was up, you're waiting on the on-deck circle. What's going through your mind as you're waiting to see if you even get an opportunity to deliver the big hit?
Well, I didn't have much time since she bunted right away on the first pitch, so I guess I was thinking about how this could potentially be it. This could be like my last time at bat, last time on the on-deck circle. So I was just thinking, like, leave it all out there, swing as hard as I can, just do my best, I guess.
So were you looking for a specific pitch? Because you went right after that first one. Were you looking for something specific, or did you just kind of see something that you liked and took a cut?
Well, she'd thrown a lot of first pitch strikes, so I was going in with that with the back of my head. So then throughout the season, I'd been swinging at the first pitch quite a lot. So I just went up there and swung hard on the first pitch, and I made contact, and the ball just flew.
And it was a wild scene in the stands. Did you get a chance to look up and see anyone in particular, or your teammates, or what kind of when you got to first base? Because I was looking for you at second base, to be honest with you, and all of a sudden I whip over to first, and there you are, which was smart because you didn't want to make an out on the bases. But what did you do kind of right in the aftermath of that hit, and talk a little bit about kind of that immediate aftermath of what happened?
Well, it took me a while to get to first because I was just watching everything happen. So there's that. And Colton didn't send me, which is good because I was not really going very fast. But I got to first base, and I was just like in utter shock. I saw Mike cross home, and I was just freaking out. I think I almost passed out, honestly, for a second there. I fell in Cole's arm. He's like, stay on the base. I was like, I am, I promise. And then I looked in the dugout. I was just looking at everyone screaming at me. My sister was bawling, and then she had to go up to bat. I was like, get it together. It was awesome. And then I had to just go run the bases, and I was like, all right, got to refocus and it was awesome. I was looking everywhere. Then I went back and looked at the pictures, and everyone's like huddling around my dad, jumping on him. It was so cool.
I did get a look at him up in the stands, and yeah, that was pretty cool. He was right behind the dugout, fired up. All right, so Joe, Ava's just got the big hit. It's a 3-2 lead in the last inning. We talked about this, I think, the first time that you were in here about you calling pitches. Yeah. What starts going through your head about how you want to get through? Because I mean, that's obviously a very good team, and they've got a good lineup. And then those first two girls get on base for the top of their order. What's kind of going through your head on some of the pitches that you want to call, how you want to attack, especially their leadoff hitter when they had 2 on and nobody out? Talk a little bit about kind of what was going through your head behind the plate, trying to get those last 3 outs.
Well, we started off throwing a lot of strikes, and then they started hitting, so we tried to throw like a little bit of more balls to like throw them off and stuff. But as like they got on, it was kind of nervous, but then we was like, all we need is outs. We need outs. 1 run is fine, but we can't get another one. And we were just like, oh my goodness, this is it. We gotta nail it down and pull it together, and we ended up pulling it together, and it was really good.
Carly, let's talk first about the homer, okay, that started the game off. That was huge, just to get off to a good start. Talk a little bit about kind of what you saw on that pitch, and Josephine, you as well. How cool was it and we'll let you go, Carly, but how cool was it to hit a home run at the state tournament, and how important do you think that was to get your team off to a good start, getting that big hit to start it off?
Yeah, I kind of had an advantage towards my teammates. I've played travel ball against the Martinsdale pitcher a few times, and so I kind of knew going in what she threw and like when she was kind of going to throw it. And so at bat, I was kind of, thinking a lot, which necessarily isn't always a good thing, but I was. And so I kind of knew what I was looking for and what I could hit best. And so, being able to hit that home run obviously is something that's very special up in Fort Dodge, but just seeing the momentum that it brought to our team in the first inning, it kept our teammates energized throughout the whole game. It really shifted the momentum on our side in the start, and so I think that we did a really good job never really living that down. We kept going the entire game, and so just being able to, live in the moment and enjoy that you hit a home run, but then also you have to realize you still have 7 more innings to play after that, and so that was kind of hard for us. But we did a really good job, celebrating and then just kind of moving on.
Did you think it was out? Because it didn't get out by much. Did you think that you got all of it, or were you kind of like watching as you're rounding first base?
Yeah, I knew that it was obviously a very solid hit, but I kind of knew that it was straight, like dead center field. And so I was kind of just like, I was sprinting because I was like, oh, she might catch it, it might drop. And then when I was like rounding first base about halfway to second, I saw the umpire, signal the home run. And so that just, like flipped a switch in my head and was like, oh my gosh, this really just happened.
201 feet.
Yeah.
201. Yeah, 201. That's all it takes.
Hey, Mitch, before we get off the topic of the home run, Coach Striegel, I'm sure you saw the picture of who was in the stands. In the picture, I don't know if you girls know who Coach Bob Howard is, legendary coach from here in Sigourney, but Coach Howard hanging out in the stands with a big smile on his face. And I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, my brother was sitting right next to him on the other side. You can't see him in the picture, but I had to laugh because Coach Howard was leaning like he was trying to will it out, leaning into my brother there, and Coach Hobbs in the picture, and and Clint. It was lots of fun to see that, and the look on Coach Howard's face also kind of had me laughing because I looked at it and I thought, oh, he's worried about that. And what was funny is when she hit it, I yelled, "It's out of here." I knew it was off. They tell me it was off her glove, but I didn't ever see that.
Yeah,
but
that's what everybody
anyway,
said,
I thought it was, I knew it was out, so I didn't worry too much about it. I wasn't as worried as Carly was, I guess.
Talk about being worried. Okay, what were your thoughts going into the top of that 7th inning? I mean, there hadn't been a lot of traffic on the bases in the innings previously. Talk a little about what was going through your head. I know you have confidence in your team, but it was a good part of the order coming up in that 7th inning. What's going through your head? You need 1 to tie, 2 to take the lead. What was going through your head to start that 7th inning, Coach?
Honestly, I never doubted we were going to score in the top of the 7th. I knew who we had coming up. I knew that we were right where we wanted to be. I knew that whoever was at the lineup was going to get on base and do what they had to do. This team has done what they needed to do all year long. And I guess as I want to say that, in previous years, I kind of went home feeling like we had won lots of games by several runs. And this year we had a few more tough, close games. And I really believe that those close games were what helped us win at the state tournament. It kept us so that we understood the pressure and what we needed to do and how to accomplish it. So what was going through my head was just the same thing that went through all season long. Who's going to step up, because somebody will, and who's going to do what they need to do to help us win.
And that's kind of the cool thing. So many different people stepped up throughout the state tournament for you guys.
Yeah, even in the regionals, Kayla Renner had a big hit for us in the regionals. Devin Smallwood had a good hit for us. Let's see, who else? Ella
Bruns
had a huge hit.
Rounds,
yeah. And so I just felt confident in everybody that was batting and everybody at the plate, even the defense. I just went into the game feeling very confident, and the top of the 7th was no different. I think in the huddle, I said, we can do this. We're in this. Let's go, ladies.
And I think that's a great point that you made. That's something I wanted to ask about here this morning. Ava, do you think that having those really tough games before the state tournament, I mean, because if we look back, that Highland game was tied going into the 7th inning, and then the Wapello game came all the way down to the final strike. Do you feel like, I don't want to say it took pressure off you, but did it give you confidence in the state tournament, knowing that, hey, we were really close to not even getting here? We made it. This is awesome. Did it give you a little bit extra confidence in the state tournament?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely does. I think playing like the Oski tournaments and the Ottumwa tournament definitely helped us a lot, especially because what was that team when you hit the walk-off home run? Solon. Yeah, Solon. We were down like 1-0 in the 7th inning, and Carly hit a walk-off, and it was just awesome. Like, I think it perfectly prepared us for the state tournament.
Josephine, talk a little bit about that. I want to hear a little bit about that Wapello game in particular from your perspective. That was a very tense game. Yes. It was a game where they had a lead in the 8th inning. We were able to tie it, then go on to win in the 11th inning. Talk a little bit about kind of the pressure of that situation, even before the state tournament, and a little bit about just how many good teams there are in the state, and for you guys to be the champions, how good that feels.
Well, we knew going into that Wapello game that it was going to be a very tough game. But once we had a runner on 3rd and we tied it, I had no doubt that we were going to win it. I just knew from then that we could do it. And coming from like a small town and a small community and doing something as good as like winning state is just very good for us. And there are a lot of better teams in this state, but we showed that we are the best team out there in 1A. We did it.
Yeah, and just obviously some huge wins along the way in the tournament, beating an undefeated Remsen St. Mary's, yes. Then kind of avenging that quarterfinal loss from Ava and Carly, your freshman year. Joe, that would have been your 8th grade year, to Southeast Warren in the semifinals and then beating the number 1 team in the state. You certainly earned it. Carly, talk a little bit about being a pitcher, because in softball, that you talk about pressure, that is one of the number 1 spot where it's on you, and talk a little about how you manage that so well for 5 years, but particularly at the state tournament when you know that, hey, this is it, I really want to go out and win a state championship for my team, my community, myself. Talk a little about how you kind of manage that all week, specifically in Fort Dodge.
I think, helping kind of manage that has also came with experience. And so kind of over the course of my 5 years playing, I played a lot of travel ball. And so being on big stages, I think really helped prepare me for, high school softball. But like you said, especially in Fort Dodge, I was up there my freshman year. And so obviously that was really nerve-wracking, and I probably felt a lot more pressure then than I obviously do now. I mean, I don't really remember it, so it must not have been that much. But, and last year, too, we had a really close game with Northland. And so I knew that being able to stay relaxed was probably my biggest thing. And so going up there this year and just staying relaxed and kind of, soaking it in, Jordan Carter, Jordan Mose now, is somebody who has kind of helped mentor me, and she just kind of says, like, take a step back, look around, look in the stands, be where your feet are. And we've talked about that a lot this season. But, once we got up there, I kind of just looked at it like, wow, these are the people that are, the most proud of us. And so being able to kind of just enjoy it while you were there is something that also really helps.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good stuff. All right, so what I want to hear about here, we'll just do a couple more and get you guys out of here. You guys have been great this morning. I want to hear a little bit about the off the diamond stuff in Fort Dodge, because there's a lot of downtime. I think I like to consider myself the state softball expert because I've worked out there my whole life, basically being from Fort Dodge originally, but I've never been out at the dorms during state softball week. So I want to hear a little bit about kind of the dorm life out there, and then what's some of the fun stuff that you guys did on your downtime. I know you guys hit Fort Frenzy, you did some other things. Did you go out and watch the softball? Kind of talk about your week away from softball. Coach, let's start with you. Managing all these girls. I know they're a great group. We love them, but you're still responsible for them for a whole week. Talk a little bit about kind of the off the diamond stuff in Fort Dodge.
Some of the off the diamond things that we did, sounds kind of funny, but we spent it seemed like a lot of time eating. I don't know if we really ate as much as I thought we did, but it felt like if we weren't practicing or at the fields, we were eating.
So do they have the cafeteria open out there? Or
Yes,
okay.
We can go to breakfast, lunch, and supper at the cafeteria. We did that a couple times. We also ate out several times in Fort Dodge. The smoothie place was kind of popular, at least for smoothies. I don't know about lunch so much, but it was good. And we had pizza a couple nights. I kind of had I felt really bad because Thursday night we didn't get, the games went late. We went to watch the games at the field, and they went late in extra innings. And so I wanted to feed the girls some really good supper, and we ended up with pizza, but it was still good. We had some good food. Some of the other things we did is we practiced, and we practiced just right outside the dorm. We could go to fields. Mr. Howard offered us to come to Webster City, but we just kind of practiced out and around where we were at in the dorms, and several coaches came up to us. I think Solon was one of them. We were out there practicing. Their coach was laughing at us because we were just, I couldn't see everybody. We were kind of spread out around, and we were hitting wiffles everywhere. I think the big thing is that we tried to just keep it pretty low key. I didn't want them to feel nervous. I wanted them to just live in the moment and enjoy it. And so we tried to keep everything low key. Not a lot of pressure or hard practice, just kind of relax, chill out. I think they found out that Cole's a big kid. They went to Fort Frenzy, and he was probably one of the competitors at every single thing they did. But Kayla Renner, her face during the go-kart, she was like all about winning, her and Bryn both. I can't remember who else, but yeah, they were. And the jumpy thing, I was so afraid somebody was going to get get murdered there, but they had a great time.
Ava, talk a little about kind of what some of your highlights were from away from the diamond last week in Fort Dodge.
Definitely Fort Frenzy. If you guys think we're competitive on the softball field, you should see us in laser tag or go-karts. It's actually really fun. That was definitely a highlight. It was fun just having 2 hours of fun bonding time with the team. And then, honestly, we took a lot of naps. Braided a lot of hair, too. My fingers, oh, Lord. It has been different this week without not having to braid so many heads of hair. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was awesome.
Josephine, go ahead. What were some of your faves?
Yeah, Fort Frenzy was definitely one of the favorite parts of this entire trip. And also, that day off really helped us. And, like, I did think we ate a lot and we took a lot of naps. Like I probably took like 5 naps that entire time. And just like going out to the field to watch some games was also a really fun part.
Yeah, I will agree with these other, everybody else. Fort Frenzy was really fun, but I think my favorite part is honestly just being in the dorms with everyone. We all have separate rooms. There's normally about 5 girls in each room, but you have people from other rooms coming into your room. You're going to other rooms. It's just kind of honestly like what I think makes the experience. And so being able to hang out with the girls all the time is really fun. We play card games. We obviously eat a lot in the dorms, I feel like. But, like Josephine said, taking naps, making TikToks is what we did a lot too. And so we had a lot of fun, but, that does kind of make your experience a lot better. And I think that was honestly one of my favorite parts.
Little preview of college life for you two young ladies up in Cedar Falls for you. So, okay, last one for all of you really quickly. Just talk a little bit about the support that you got from the community. That to me, that's one of the coolest things is just how it really brought our whole community together, and especially, like you said, Wednesday night it went really late. Wednesday night, and just hearing from people after that, like, yeah, we're getting to Fort Dodge on Friday one way or another. Talk about the turnout from the crowd on Friday, and then just the support you've gotten this entire run. Coach, let's start with you.
Yeah, I guess that's a big part I want to just say thank you for. Not only the people that donated things or sponsored our events or donated money to help pay for some of this food that we ate all the time, but just the people and the messages we got. It was so inspiring when the baseball team came on Monday or Tuesday night and was so loud, and then to know that the football team showed up on Friday and all the messages we got. I think my phone just went off constantly from messages from people all over the United States actually, and just people so proud and excited, and it was, and the community. I couldn't, I like to look and see who's all up in the stand. I couldn't believe all the people and all the noise. The noise was so loud on Friday. I was trying to holler at the girls to tell them something, and they couldn't hear me. And it was fantastic. And I just really appreciate all the support we got from everybody. It was incredible.
I also just want to say thank you. It was really awesome. Our class group chat went off right when we won the championship.
Yeah, what did your phone look like when you got to check it after that game?
Oh God, it was crazy. It honestly took me the whole ride home to get through everything, but it was awesome though. I love that feeling. Definitely the class group chat that going off. They're like, good job. I think they're probably more excited than we were, honestly. They were freaking out. It was awesome. Honestly, just knowing that our community has our back like that is awesome. Getting to leave our house for 5 days and be supported by people who donated in the community is awesome. Knowing that we come from a small town and not many people can do that, it's awesome to have this experience and to know that you guys helped it.
It was really interesting because we went to some of the bigger school games, and almost everybody commented about how few people were there compared to our games. And so it was really neat to see that small town support and know that is something that happens in a small town that may not happen in a big town. People that are connected to the team come and watch and all that, but in a small town everybody comes and watches.
Sure.
And yeah, thank you to like everybody who's donated and sponsored us and paid for things up there. It was really a great time, and we thank you so much. And it was just like, you think there was a lot of people at the Southeast Warren game, but when we hit Friday, like there was so many, like there was a ton more. And they were just so loud and so hype, and they just brought energy to us. And just to have the community there is just really, it's just a really great feeling.
Yeah, obviously thank you to everybody that helped us, just from parents, people in the community, like other coaches, like everybody else has said, the best part was probably, the baseball and football teams coming up to support. Those boys get pretty loud, and so being able to hear them cheer for us, just kind of fires you up a little bit. My favorite part was probably them chanting "one more out." I think that was the loudest part of the night. But then also the school posted on Facebook like a video of the final out, and just seeing everybody in the stands, so many people were hugging and screaming, and obviously there was tears. And so just seeing like how proud everybody was of us was something that will honestly just like live in my mind forever.
A perfect way to close it out with that. So thank you, girls, Coach Striegel, for coming in on Saturday morning and reliving the championship. It was an awesome week for you guys and certainly for our whole community. So thank you, Steve. You got anything for them really quick before we let them get out of here?
I was just going to ask, we only have so many stools, as you can see, because Mitch is in a different chair. We only have so much room and so much time, but obviously we could have had another row of girls in here. Like Aaron Dawson, Ava Fish. As we mentioned, Ella Bruins had a huge hit in the playoffs, but just maybe Amaya Smallwood obviously was a huge part of the team. Maybe if any of you have any memories, compliments for some of the teammates that aren't here today that could have been here. We just obviously, like I said, we didn't have enough room and all that good stuff. But put over your teammates if you want, if you have anything good to say.
I would definitely give a shout out to Amaya. Down to that last 2 outs, she was up to bat, and when she bunted, that was probably the best decision she's ever made in her life. That was awesome. She has the quickest speed, and she's probably the best bunter on our team. So honestly, shout out to her for getting on base, and honestly her speed too. When I hit that, she hauled from first base all the way home. So just a big shout out to her for just really leaving it all on the field for sure.
I'd like to shout out to like everybody in the dugout, because everyone in the dugout had a role to play. Either it was just cheering, bringing us our stuff. They really helped us through the week, and they just were like our hype people. They were just there for us. They are our biggest supporters. So I shout out to them.
Yeah, like Coach Striegel said earlier, there was a lot of different people that stepped up in a lot of different moments, and so there's honestly too many people to talk about, but everybody did a good job finding their role and purpose on the team, like Josephine said. It was this week, seeing everybody come together was just, you saw a lot of unselfishness, and so being able to be around that and kind of put the team atmosphere first was something that was really awesome to be around.
I guess my big shout out, not only to the girls, because every one of them, I look up and down my lineup, and I have a whole bench full of girls that might have been starters on any other team. And that is really a hard role to play for them, and know that they could be starters on other teams. And so to have them on our team is pretty special. But I guess my big shout out, and, I joke a lot about Frosty, but he really was very helpful to us during this whole season, keeping the track of the books for me and helping me get stats entered and getting the field ready. He took such pride in getting the field ready and having it for the girls, and he would spend all day down there. And
I don't think there's ever a time I went down there to get my stuff set up for Thunder Country that he wasn't there. I mean,
yeah.
He literally lived there.
Yeah, he did. And I need to give a big shout out to him, because he worked really hard, and he was so excited for these girls and so proud of them. And so I guess I need to say thank you to him.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being with us here on a Saturday morning. A ton of fun to relive the state championship with the champs here on a Saturday morning at the sports section at Brothers Market. So thank you, Coach Triegel. Thank you, girls. Congratulations again on the state championship.
All righty, thank you, ladies. You are free to go. While we take a break here in between segments, do want to put up our graphic. Thanks, guys. Athlete of the Year tournament going to be starting up here this weekend on Steve Shetler Media Facebook. You're looking at the first matchup, which voting will go live tomorrow evening, Sunday evening, starting at 6 p.m. We've been talking about this for a while now. The Athlete of the Year is the top 16 vote getters from throughout this past school year. Now, with the softball and baseball ramping up, the sports year is officially over with, so the Athlete of the Year is going to get underway. Again, the top 16 Athlete of the Week vote getters included in this tournament, and that includes, let's see here, we're looking at Evan versus Macy. If you can squint a little bit on your screen, you can see our different matchups there. We've got Sigourney Keota football represented, North Mahaska wrestling, Ottumwa wrestling, English Valley's volleyball, North Mahaska cross country, Cardinals softball. So various communities, various sports, various athletes going to be duking it out in this 3-week tournament. And as you can see there, that championship belt that we're looking at on the graphic right now is up for grabs. The winner will get that belt. And some people kind of take a peek at that, and they're like, oh, it's kind of a cheap little play toy belt. But I'm telling you right now, we're going to switch over to the live shot of Mitch. Mitch is holding that belt. That is a legitimate championship belt. I mean, it is what like pro wrestlers or UFC fighters would be wearing to the ring or to the cage to fight in. So, I mean, it's heavy, it's legit, so that title is up for grabs as the prize for our Athlete of the Year tournament. So hopefully we get the communities and the different school districts pushing this and getting their athletes all the votes they can. So, yeah, Mitch, I don't know if you got anything to say about the Athlete of the Year tournament.
Yeah,
but,
should be fun to see who gets it out. And, yeah, whoever wins this belt, I don't know if they're going to be able to wear it around their waist or not. It weighs about 50 pounds, but it's about as it's heavy, so it's legit. So it'll be whoever gets it. It'll be exciting and be fun to see who can win the title here this August.
I should mention our sponsors for that. That includes Keokuk County Hospital and Clinics, who is our Athlete of the Week sponsor, and then Kelly Style State Farm Insurance from Oskaloosa, our Team of the Week. So they are sponsoring our Athlete of the Year tournament. We do appreciate their sponsorship and their support for the tourney. Do we got anything else for this week, Mitch, or are we calling it good?
You know, we got a little Olympics talk here.
Okay.
We got going on. It's obviously, as you said, it's kind of there's a couple different names for it. The associations like to call it Family Week. You know, and we heard a lot of these girls went on vacation. A lot of vacationing going on. It's also kind of referred to as Dead Week. There's no activities allowed from anybody in Iowa high school sports. This last week, we'll have our fall sports getting started with their camps and practices this coming week, volleyball, football, and cross country. But it is a very busy time in the sports world, and the Olympics are over in Paris for the Olympic Games. And I know a lot of people have been had their eyes glued on that. We're about the halfway point of the Olympic Games, where we've got a lot of the sports are either, they're kind of transitioning through their pool play section and they'll get into their tournament phase. Okay, swimming is I think swimming wraps up maybe today is the final day. Now track and field will take over. So definitely been watching a lot. And I came up with a little list for us here on the sports section this morning of my top 5 Olympic sports that I like to watch that I won't watch for another 4 years, but I think that I become an expert on them for 2 weeks, once every 4 years. So if you do they still let you do the comments on Facebook, Steve?
Oh yeah.
Can you still do that? I'm not a
Yeah, yeah.
Facebook person. They still so you're probably not going to agree with my list, but if you have your own list, comment on there of your sports that you like to watch that you don't normally watch. So I can't count tennis. I watch tennis all year long. Basketball, golf. Can't count those. So I watch those all year long. But my top 5. So number 5 my sport is water polo. Okay, and I do not know how those people do not actively drown each other during those games. I mean, it is unbelievable to watch them on the water polo. They are treading water. The water is like 12 foot deep, so they can't even come close to touching. They're treading water. They're grabbing each other, and then at the same time, they've got one hand on a ball, and they're trying to throw it through a goal. I mean, it's incredible the athleticism that it must take to play water polo. Okay, number 4, badminton. All right, I think we've all played that, at the park, at a camp out, whatever. The way that they hammer that shuttlecock is outrageous. I mean, the reaction time, the speed of badminton is incredible. So if you haven't watched any badminton, you need to at least, go to one of the obscure cable channels and find a little badminton before the week's over. All right, number 3 is swimming. All right, I enjoy the swimming. It is all the different events, all the different countries. U.S., a very good swimming country. But the thing that puts it over the top for me with swimming is the announcer. Rowdy Gaines announcing. You got to have the volume on if you're watching swimming. He gets so jacked up about these swimming races. He's incredible. So I think today is the last day of swimming, so try to check it out today, swimming. Number 2, beach volleyball. Okay, you got to watch the beach volleyball for the scenes. Okay, they got the Eiffel Tower right behind you've probably seen some still pictures if you've been checking things out online. But I love watching the beach volleyball. It's 2-on-2. They are incredible athletes. The way they can move in that sand, those of you who just try to run in the sand, it makes you sore. And they're diving, they're jumping. I love the beach volleyball. That's one of my favorites. But number 1, okay, is team handball. All right, team handball, Steve. Incredible sport. We don't really play it in the United States. I don't even think we even qualified for it in the Olympics. It's a big European thing. European teams dominate team handball, but it's basically like a combination of soccer with your hands. So there's goals, they're throwing the ball. There's all kinds of weird rules, you can only take 2 steps and you can't shoot in certain areas, but you got to find that one too. Team handball, my number 1 obscure sport. So you got any that you really enjoyed here watching?
I didn't know what that was called, but that's what I was going to bring up because I hadn't really seen anything until last night. I did tune in for some Olympics last night, and they were showing some highlights from team handball. And is there a 3-point line in that?
There's not.
There's some sort of line.
There should be. That's the line. I don't think you can go inside. You have to shoot outside of it, I think, is what it is. So
yeah, that's a incredible. I could get into that. That's kind of a cool game.
I think we need to invest in it in the United States and get good so we can at least make the Olympics.
Another thing I like in the swimming, I like the guy that has to dive in and retrieve the caps at the bottom of the pool.
Carly's mom Shay sent me that video on her TikTok, and that was hilarious. Is the Speedo necessary for that guy? That's my question.
He doesn't really have the body for it, so
could he do that in just a pair of regular trunks?
And he's very popular with the crowd.
Very.
The crowd goes nuts. So, yeah, that's good stuff. The Olympics going on, and that's. I think does that wrap it up for today?
That wraps it up. We had to talk a little Olympics here before we got out of here. So that wraps it up. So we appreciate all the girls coming in this morning. They did great. Yes. How fun was that, Steve, to see them and to relive the memories from Fort Dodge?
It was great. Sometimes